Hello everybody, I am Brianna Lenz and today we are going to be discussing 25 dragon cross stitch patterns. All right, you guys, I am a huge fan of dragons, like a huge fan of dragons. I am cross stitching a dragon. I just did a huge diamond art of a dragon. I have pieces of jewelry with dragons on them. I have hair accessories with dragons on them. I love dragons. I love reading about dragons. I love reading about dragons in Eastern culture as well as in Western culture. They're incredible. Are dinosaurs dragons? I don't know. Just saying. That's speculation. Not saying I believe it. Not saying I don't believe it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But dragons are present around the world in all of our ancient civilizations and cultures, basically. There is different remnants throughout history, ancient history, of dragons. It is in our fantasy. It is in our folklore. It is everywhere. And you have the Chinese dragon that is commonly seen, and then you commonly see the Western dragon in like medieval literature and fantasy and that kind of a thing. And we are not going to be sharing dragons of the Eastern culture. However, it is the Chinese New Year this Saturday, February 10th, and it is the year of the dragon. I was born in the year of the dragon. My daughter Fiona is born in the year of the dragon. My other daughter is born in the year of the rooster. She's not happy about that. But yeah, so I just thought, why not? This would be really fun because if I have an excuse to talk about dragons and get to combine that with cross stitch, I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna just jump on in. I tried making this a video of 50 cross stitch patterns, but by the time I got past 25, it just got really convoluted and I just wasn't sure about the people that I'd be sharing or anything like that. So I just chose to scale it to 25 and keep it there. And these are all dragons that I particularly like. I think that they're beautiful. And the first 10 that I'll be sharing are from Heaven and Earth Designs with all of the original artists discussed. Then, of course, there's going to be Teresa Wier because how couldn't you? Wow, she is incredible. Incredible with her dragon design work. But yeah, I'm so excited to be making this video because this is something that I've thought about, and then last night I was like, no, we're doing this. We are totally doing this. So if you don't know, I'm a huge reader. I love reading fantasy, and I thought about doing like maybe 25 dragon books too to combine with this, and I thought, let's just go here. Let's just do this. So, oh, excuse me. I got a message. Somebody trying to sell me Tulsa Oilers hockey tickets, which we almost went to a game for this past weekend, but we should be going in March. Anyway, that is not what we're here. We're not here to talk about hockey. We're here to talk about dragons. So if you haven't seen one of these videos before, I'm going to be discussing a cross stitch pattern. I'll have the image on the screen right here, and I will be talking in chronological order of everything that I have listed on a post right here at briannalenz.com. So down below, in the description box, you'll see a link to a briannalenz.com. That's my website's post where I will have each of these 25 patterns listed in the parallel chronological order that I discussed them today. So if there's anything that suits your fancy that you'd like to see more of, then you can go ahead and go to that post and it'll have a link to where you can purchase them from. That is, except for later in the video, some of like the Teresa Wier cross stitch patterns and a couple other ones to where I share them. I found them on eBay, but I didn't want to link them because that eBay link might not be there if you're watching this in the future. I am currently recording this in early February of 2023, but who knows? You might end up watching this in 2025. So I just thought, I'll just share those, but I won't link those ones. But everything else that I was currently able to find for sale in the current sale market is linked for your convenience, as well as a downloadable PDF of all of the patterns that I mentioned. If you do just want to have this as something that you can print out and snag later if you are interested in any of these dragon designs, then you can go ahead and download that PDF it is how I keep track of my cross stitch patterns that I list. So sometimes it'll be out of order in that download PDF. That's just because I'm adding them, like you'll see the numbers as I add them to get to 25 or to 50, if that makes sense. So sometimes I might go past a designer, like I think Stony Creek, and then I found another one, so I added it later. So instead of like 1718, it goes 1725, something like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So anyway, so all of that's for your convenience, because I just so appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys watching my videos, and these 25 videos and these 50 videos. You guys seem to really enjoy them, and I can't wait to make more of them. So next, if you do like this, next on my list is the Easter, of course. So that'll be here sooner than later. And it'll be interesting to see if I do 1 or 2 Easter videos, as well as I think I definitely want to make a needlework a market video, because Market's coming up and everybody's been releasing sneak peeks of their new designs. There are so many incredible designs, so I think I want to do that. So if you want to see that video, let me know down below, because that'll make me do it sooner rather than later. If you want to see it before March, if you just want me to make a video of all the sneak peeks, I'd be more than happy to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to scoot over, because I always have the cross stitch pattern right here while I'm talking to you. And the first 10 that I wanted to share are Heaven and Earth designs. These are beautiful artworks. And of course, the first 5 that I wanted to share are Randall Spangler's artworks. He is so recognizable. I actually, when I was choosing my Diamond Art Club kit, it was between a Randall Spangler artwork or the amazing dragon that I ended up doing, which that video is coming soon. I'm working with Diamond Art Club, so I just have to wait a little bit before I release that video. And the one that I almost chose, I'm sharing today. But the first one is my absolute favorite from Randall Spangler. And again, I'll be looking down below because I'm looking at my post. And it's called Reading Time. I love this. I think it's really beautiful. And I love how it's in nature. And I believe those are oak leaves. So it must be an oak tree, and it's just very whimsical. And yeah, I don't know if I would ever do a Heaven and Earth design cross stitch. That's why Diamond Art appealed to me so much, is because I thought that it would be something faster to do. I get that Heaven and Earth artwork, but in a faster form. But this is so lovely. Who knows, maybe one day I would do one. But I really love Randall Spangler's artwork. It's so recognizable, and he has so many different interesting dragons. The second one that I chose is a little bit of magic. And this is the design that I almost chose for my Diamond Art Club kit pick. But I chose my high fantasy dragon. And I'm so happy with it. I love the colors. But yes, this is the one that I almost chose. And I was going to do this and then hang it in my homeschool room, because it's just really whimsical. It's the dragon. Of course, it's doing a little bit of magic, but it's the little dragon, and he's studying books, and he's sitting on books. And I just think that would be really cute in my homeschool room anyway. Next, we have Bubble Bubble Chocolate Trouble. I love the light in this one, and I love that the dragons are making hot cocoa. So, of course, there are so many Randall Spangler artworks. So why am I choosing these ones? I just chose the ones that were my favorite. Like, these are my 5 favorite. And honestly, it was hard to choose. I kept going back between a couple of them, but I think that this is so funny. I think it's whimsical. I love that, and I love that in cross stitch, where I'm releasing a lot more cross stitch patterns right now. So if you're interested, I'll link you guys down below to Brianna Lynch's shop on Etsy. But I think I love classic artwork. I love classic cross stitch, but I love artwork with a sense of humor, and I love stitching things with a sense of humor. And so this is lovely. And these dragons, and I think it's really well done. Then, of course, this one is so cute. You have Curl Up with a Good Book. You can see a theme here. I like the dragons with books. But this one has the cat in the background, and the candles, and like chocolate marbles, like pillows. Oh gosh, it just looks so cozy. I would love to be right there, curled up with a good book and a chocolate chip cookie. Yeah, that is just awesome. And then finally, I loved the colors in this one because I loved the pumpkins. And this is ghost stories, the pumpkins reading ghost stories in a pumpkin patch with ghosts in the background, and even like the leaves. It's just out of the park. I love the colors. You have the contrast of the orange and the purple and the candle sitting on that one pumpkin. Love this. Love, love, love this one. I really, a couple years ago when I saw the Randall Spangler artworks, I was like, okay. And now I don't know what it is, but over the past few months, I've really fallen in love with each one of his pieces of art. And I think it's cool that you get to recreate it in Heaven and Earth Designs, which they also sell diamond art kits too. But yeah, they're just lovely. I really like how they translate over to stitched too. Like I like how they're pixelated down and you're able to stitch them. I think that they translate really well from the artwork to the stitching. So those are my first 5. Then the next 5 are Miscellaneous Artists. The first one that I chose is Dragon Race into the Night by Rose Kahn. And this is so magnificent. So the emphasis here is on the artwork. I can't even imagine the amount of threads that this would take. I can't even imagine how long this would take. But the yin and the yang of this, the night and the dark, you get the best of both worlds when it comes to dragons. You have them flying, you have small dragons, big dragons, castle, all the whimsical colors. You have the tree of life in the background. I mean, there's nothing that this picture really doesn't have if you're a fantasy lover. And if you're a dragon lover, but especially Western culture dragons, I'm sure that you love fantasy. And this just hits all of it. I mean, there's even a ship in the background. Like, oh, this is incredible. I love this one. This one, yeah, just gorgeous. I couldn't even imagine how long that would take to stitch. Maybe a decade, right? Then next we have Merlin's Library by Ciro Marchetti. Now this one, there were 2 options. There was Merlin's Library with Merlin in the center of it, or there was this option with Merlin taken out of it, and so then you have just this entire library. And if you're wondering, like, okay, I see Merlin, I see the fantasy, there's a dragon in the background. So there is a dragon there. Is the dragon the focal point? No, but is it part of the story? Absolutely. And I personally, I'm not a huge I don't know, nothing against Merlin. Pretty cool guy. But I liked this one better without Merlin in it because I just liked seeing in his library. I could absolutely do this one. There's a lot of brown in this, but oh my gosh, I just love all the bits and the bob and the alchemy. It's just, I would love to be there. Can you imagine? Like, okay, I totally geek out. Like, you guys are really learning about me. I geek out so hard about this kind of stuff. Like, I would just love to be able to just like teleport myself into that room and just look at everything. Like I would just be looking at everything. It'd be amazing. So absolutely love that with a little dragon in the background flying around. Come on, that'd be awesome. Okay, then we have a second one by Ciro, I don't know, Marchetti. And it's just dragons. And I really like this one because you have the dragons and the ships and the castle in the background. This is very much like the dragons that you would kind of see in that Game of Thrones type of fantasy with the fire and the ice and the dragons over the castles. Like, I really like that. And I liked the orbs. I liked the symmetry of this. I really liked the artwork, for one, because I did like the symmetry. I liked that the dragon was the focal point and the dragon is blowing fire. Then you have the ships blowing cannons against the dragon. Like, this was actually a scene that was original to this person's artwork because I didn't see this. Like, usually, like if on Etsy or whatever, like there were just dragons, but this is highly like there's just a lot of action in this, and I love it. And I like that it was on the sea. Really, I liked it. Then we have We Are All Connected by, excuse me, all of these notifications. We Are All Connected by Raven Phelan. This one, I liked a lot of it. I liked the symmetry of it. You have the tree of life, you have the dragons, you have the different animals in the animal kingdom, and then you have the lady at the end. I wasn't my favorite, but I did like how the dragons were represented, because especially like in Eastern culture, there is the yin and the yang, and actually it's typically the dragon and the phoenix, and the female embodies the phoenix while the male is represented by the dragon. And it's just about balance and yin and yang and that kind of a thing. And so I think that you really do see that a lot in this. And then you also have the Western culture of the light and the dark, and you know, we're all connected in that whole thing. You can go further into that if you want to. I just really did enjoy this, and the Celtic, not at the top, I liked it. Let me see how many times I can say that. I liked it. Then we have another one that was really different too, was Waterfall Dragons by Matt Stewart. So by Heaven and Earth Designs, there were a lot of just like singular drawings of dragons, like I said, or like, I'm not into like the like super portrait fairy like face stuff. Like, I know a lot of people like that. I'm just not into it. So my dragon choices were very much like the setting was as important as the dragons, because it puts you in that fairy tale, it puts you in that story, like right in there. I could be in that movie, like right here. These dragons could be replaced, like you could just put yourself in the middle of Avatar, right? And instead of the Avatar animals, whatever they were, like dragons. So I liked this one. I liked the colors. I think that, I don't know, they look very, just a lot of, the color story is what I really like about these dragons. And the spots and everything are just very different. So highly, highly like these. But that wraps up my Heaven and Earth design choices. Next, we're going to be talking about designers we know and recognize. So the first one, when I was going on Etsy, there were a lot of dragons and a lot of, like I said, a lot of people who have pictures of dragons and charts of dragons. Just none that I could vet, that I wouldn't know what their pixelation was or anything like that. Like a lot of them would have like a picture of the dragon that they put into like a pixel design editing software. And so I was like, you know what, let's just stick with the people that we know and stuff that I think you and I would be comfortable purchasing from. And then at the very end, I'll share the one dragon cross stitch pattern that I have purchased that I can vet, that I do enjoy from Etsy, from an unknown designer, but I do link to their shop. So if you'd like to stitch that as well, you can. So first we have Beauty and the Beast by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Autumn Lane Stitchery is an incredible design shop. They have so many wonderful dark folklore cross stitch patterns. So if this is something that you're into, if you're into this type of fantasy from all different cultures, you've got to go check out Autumn Lane Stitchery. And this pattern is their only pattern of a dragon, and it looks more like a sea serpent, but it is technically a dragon, but it's more of the dragon of the sea mixed with the mermaid, and it just, the colors are incredible. I would love to stitch this. This is wonderful, and hats off to them. They just do incredible design work, and their art is lovely, and it's just so eye-catching and vivid. So yeah, this is wonderful. Had to start off with Autumn Lane Stitchery, Beauty and the Beast. Next we have Elizabeth's Designs. There was this antique Celtic sampler, and it says, "Here there be monsters." I really do enjoy this, because this is more of the sea folklore, old school folklore, Celtic folklore, antique sampler. I think that's more of what we're familiar with, and I do like this idea of the old ancient drawing of the dragon. We have two that I would like to share from Stony Creek. And first, there being the Dragons and Wizards collection. It's this is a booklet book. I can't see what it says, $3.95 maybe, but it's Dragons and Wizards by Stony Creek. You can find this on eBay. And also, I think, let me click on this link. This is currently available at 123stitch.com. And I like this one a lot. I like their dragons. I like that you can have singular dragons, and then you also have Merlin, and you have the castle. So you have these beautiful scenes, but you can also, like, I don't know, I like, this had to have been in the 80s or the early 90s, and it was just like prime time for dragons and wizards in movies, like kits. I don't know, where did the love and the romance for dragons go? Let's bring them back. Let's bring them back, you know? Then we have mythical moments. Now this one I do not have linked. This one is from eBay, and this one is so classic. I feel like mythical moments, Stony Creek. I don't know the story behind this, but I feel like they were like, Teresa Wier was doing what she was doing. Stony Creek was like, okay, we can go less dimensions and go more that way if that's what people want to go. And I really do like these. I think that these would take forever to stitch. There's probably so much back stitch, but would it be worth it? Heck yes. Love these. And it's just, the color choices is just so, like, I can think of like just people from the 90s, and I'm like, they would have stitched this, I'm sure. Like adults when I was a kid, I'm like, yeah, you probably would have stitched this. So going from Stony Creek, we're going to go over to Long Dog Samplers. Now, Long Dog Samplers had two. They had Templar Prophecy, which is amazing. You have a lot in here, and you have, you know, Knights of the Templar, obviously medieval, dragons. There's a lot in there, and it tells the story. Ooh, that one is so much stitching. And then you have Dragon Hall, which I've never seen before. I love this one. Again, I like the symmetry. I like the border. I like the colors. I like that this is the most sampler-esque of the dragons. I mean, obviously there was Antique Celtic Sampler, but I mean, that was like small. This one's probably huge. I don't remember what the stitch count is on this one. I love this one because this is one where if you have like a wall of samplers and then you put this one up in there, people are going to be like, okay, sampler, 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 dragon? Castle? Is that? Yeah. You know, like, that would be really fun. I love this one. Bees, very summer. This might be one maybe down the road in my wish list. I think I need to put that one in my wish list. Then you have Joan, so that was Dragon Hall. Then we're going to talk about one from Joan Elliott, which is Maiden and the Dragon. And it's just a beautiful maiden in the front with the dragon behind her with the red and purple colors. I mean, pretty. But she is available at 123 Stitch if you do like her. And then we're going to talk about 5, I believe, from Teresa Wier, which is, first I found, so these are on eBay, is Teresa Wier's Petites Castle and Dragon, book 1. I love this. I've never stitched a Teresa Wier, so I don't really know if you have to kit it out, like if you're able to get things that you need to for the kit. I don't know if she needs embellishments. I don't know. The only thing that I've heard about Teresa Wier is that she's highly intensive. I don't know if that's just all of her patterns or some of them. This is really the most that I've ever looked into Teresa Wier, but the castle and the dragons that she has, I mean, they would be worth the time commitment. So yeah, you have the beautiful dragon and the beautiful castle, which just even the castle is incredible. Then next we have the Princess and the Dragon, Fantasy number 3. I like the colors in this one a lot. I like that you have the old medieval princess and just this huge dragon. The colors are really appealing to me. I like green, obviously. So this one is really, really nice. The Princess and the Dragon, Fantasy number 3. Then we have Dreamscape Fantasy Sampler. This one is probably my favorite of all of the Teresa Wiers, and also one of the more unicorns of the dragon patterns from Teresa Wier. Now there are way more that you can find. She did a lot of dragons. These are just the first 5 that really caught my eye, and I thought, let's go for it. But this one I really like. I like how you have the image in the middle, you have the A through Z alphabet, and you have the different mythical creatures. I think that this is really interesting because there was a lot of dragons, but then there wasn't many dragons mixed with other mythical folklore. Usually dragons stood on themselves. So I like that she does have like different animals here that we all know and love and relate to that fantasy story. Next we have the Minstrel, fantasy number 2 dragon. I liked this because if you do like the Renaissance, old medieval literature, that kind of a thing, like you don't see the minstrel very often, or even if you just like fantasy books, like the minstrel is typically such a joker character, but you never really see them represented with the dragon. And so I thought, you know, she just really had such an appreciation for medieval times. And I like that she incorporated that in all of her dragon artwork. And so even with the minstrel's playing a song for the dragon. It's humorous, that's funny. And I love that decades ago they paid attention and that there was just a little bit of more of an appreciation for history like that. Now I feel like it's just so rushed. Like, you know, I don't think it would catch as many people's attentions nowadays if they were to come out with a pattern that had a dragon and a minstrel. That'd be really, really like few and far between. But there were enough people back then that would have appreciated the minstrel to have incorporated it. You know, besides like if you watch The Witcher, I mean the minstrel is one of the main characters. But again, that's on a TV show and a video game, right? So next and last from Teresa Wier is Dreamscape. I love this one because I think it is the most encapsulating when we think about high like fantasy and a dragon. You have the castle and you have the dragon wrapped around the castle, and it is incredibly well done. If there was one to choose from, I mean, this is the one that would be like, here's the dragon on my wall, here's the castle and the dragon. And you can kind of see, like, I like that. Just like I liked the whole story with the castle by Ciro Marchetti. I really like this one a lot. I know the other one I said was my favorite, but I mean, this one is pretty much the all-star, in my opinion, of all of them. Next, I wanted to share 2 Jan Lin kits that I found. Similar to Dreamscape by Teresa Wier, you have the dragon with the castle with the dragon wrapped around it in the sea by Jan Lin. This is a counted cross stitch kit that I was able to find. I had never seen before, and I love it. I don't know what the stitch count is on it, but it looks like 12 by 13, so it wouldn't be terrible. That castle might be a bit of a slog, but that would be another incredible, like if you wanted to stitch just one dragon and castle cross stitch pattern, I mean, I think this would be pretty encapsulating as well. And because it's Jan Lin and not Teresa Wier, it would be an easier stitch. And then finally we have a very 1993 Jan Lin cross stitch kit with this purple and pink and turquoise dragon in a, you know, I've been slouching, and, you know, just a silhouette of the dragon, and then you have it with the border of the top and the bottom. Very 1993, awesome, stark, and on black. Great. Now the thing that I wanted to end today's is the dragon pattern that I am currently stitching, and this is the dragon silhouette with castle $5 pattern off Etsy, and it is the silhouette of a dragon but with the castle and all of the typical colors that you would see in a fantasy story. And it is going really, really well. Like how they pixelated this the image to the pattern is really good. It takes a lot of threads, but I'm more than halfway done and I'm very happy with the outcome. So I would highly recommend this pattern. I didn't really want to share any of the other ones, so I couldn't recommend what might just be a picture versus the actual outcome, but this outcome is really great. So yeah, so these, like I said, these 25 dragon cross stitch patterns are just really the tip of the iceberg as to what is out there. You can easily go on Etsy and search and see what else is out there. But if you like leaflets or you like to just know what to expect from our tried and true publishers of cross stitch patterns, then this is, I'm rambling. Let me just stop there. But anyway, this was a lot of fun to make. Are you guys interested in dragons? Do you guys read dragon fantasy? I have a video that I made about the 24 books that I wanted to read in 2024. And I have a couple different fantasy stories that I'm reading about dragons. So if you're interested to know what I'm reading this year and what fantasy I chose, what dragon books I chose, I'll have that link down below, as well as a link to my Amazon storefront where I will have all of the books that I'm reading linked as well. If you don't, if you just want to see what books they are and go straight to my Amazon storefront to see the books that I'm reading this year about fantasy, then I'll have that link down below too. But this was so much fun to make. I appreciate you guys, and Easter is coming. You know, there's so many fresh patterns coming. I have a ton of patterns coming, and so thanks for hanging out with me and letting me geek out a little bit about dragons with you. And if you have stitched any of these, let me know down below because I would love to know too. And what is your absolute favorite dragon that I shared today? What would you stitch? So as always, you guys, I'll see you guys in my next project and in my next video. Until then, happy stitching. Bye.